And today we are continuing the new construction home buying series. We're going to be discussing the pros and cons of building a new home versus buying a resale home. If that is something that interests you, make sure you stay tuned. In today's video, we're going to be comparing buying a resale home versus building a brand new home. First, let's talk about building a new home from scratch. The pros. The first and obvious pro of building from the ground up is that you get a brand spanking new home. This home has never been lived in. You are the only one that has touched the toilet, the appliances, and has walked on the flooring. This home is completely yours from the beginning. The second pro is that you get to choose what goes in the home. You get to make the choices as to what kind of finishes go into the home, what kind of flooring goes in the bedrooms, what kind of hardware is on each door. You get to make those choices and you can completely customize the home to your liking. Another pro is that you get to choose the building timeline. Now typically it does take about 4 to 5 months for a home to be built, minimum, but you get to decide how fast of a pace you want to go depending on the builder that you go with, which is also a pro for someone that needs that luxury. And the last pro for building a home from the ground up is that you get to see the entire process. One of my favorite things in this world is actually seeing a home being built from the ground up. I know, I'm a real estate nerd. It is so cool to actually see a home being built and the entire process that goes into getting a home from sticks to a beautifully finished piece of art. The cons of building. Let's talk about that for a little bit. So the first con of building a house from the ground up is that it takes time. Like I said before, a minimum of 4 to 5 months before you can close on that home. You will need to allot that time. So if you're in a lease and you think that you get to move into a brand new home where you've chosen all of the finishes straight from that lease, that may not be the answer for you. You may have to look into a resale home if buying is the next step for you. But if you do want to build from the ground up, you just need to plan ahead. Know when your lease ends, know exactly when you can get started on building your home. Another con is that you may be responsible for paying for landscaping, fencing, and additional upgrades that you would normally already see in a home that was completely established. Now on to buying a resale home. So some of the pros of buying a resale home include quick possession. When you buy a resale home, you can close on that home in a minimum of a few weeks. And this is versus the minimum 4 to 6 months that it would take to build a home from scratch. Another pro is that the neighborhood is already established. So you have an idea of what your neighborhood will be like and who your neighbors are. This is something that you cannot guess when you're building a new construction home, because most of the time the neighborhood is fairly new along with the house. So you really don't know who's going to be around you, what kind of schools will be in the area. And if it's not already an established master plan community, you are going to be finding that out as the community grows. Another pro is that everything is already in the home. There's no need to pay for upgrades or do any additional installations because everything that you want is already in the house. You don't have to wait for certain things to be constructed. You don't have to wait for a project manager to come back and correct something that's in the house. You already have everything completed before you move in. Fencing's already in place and landscaping is already in place and matured. We all know that most of the time when you buy a new construction home and they provide you with landscaping before you move in, you get those plants that have not yet matured yet. So they're small, they're a little sparse. With a resale home, there's a chance that you will have mature trees and bushes and greenery growing around your home already, which is always nice to have. Okay, here we go with the cons. Cons of buying a resale home can include someone has already lived in that house. Someone has walked on those floors. Someone has used certain, I don't even want to say that. But it's true, someone has already walked on those floors, someone has already used those appliances. So if that's not a thing that you favor, just get ready to buy a new home, whether it's building it from the ground up or buying a spec or inventory home from a new builder. Con number 2, the finishes may not be to your liking. Have you ever walked into a home and the paint is just horrendous? Or there's a ton of nasty wallpaper installed? You just have to make sure that you allot a certain amount to the side so that you can put upgrades or add additional cosmetic pieces to the home that you don't favor when you purchase the home. So if you want something that is move-in ready, you will have to sift through those homes that don't have what you would typically want in a house, just because you maybe don't want to financially or mentally commit to a fixer-upper. I have a question for you guys. Have you ever purchased a brand new home from scratch, or have you bought a resale home? Comment down below with your experience. If you found this video helpful, click the like button down below, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment and subscribe for new videos every week. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you next week.